see your mother. You were only given one, go see your mother. And you know that you will never have another. Go see your mother, go see your mom.
Welcome to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. I'm your host, Sadia. This is my mother, Ima, and happy Hanukkah, everybody.
This minute you started, the cat went crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, she just wanted me to pet her. I feel like I'm dealing with a 2-year-old over here. Oh.
Yeah, Chag Sameach. We wanted to talk a little bit. Last week's episode got pretty big, but we wanted to just let everybody know what happened was that enough people complained to the school about the issues with the bat mitzvahs that they were having. For instance, it being too expensive. Their kid wasn't invited to the bat mitzvah. You know, the having to constantly get, gifts for all these bat mitzvahs that are happening. That eventually the school just said, fine, we'll take the reins. And from now on, you won't have any bat mitzvahs and you're not allowed to go to them. So yes, that was a kind of a drastic measure, but it was due to the parents of the students that caused the problem in the first place, which is very sad and frustrating. But let's talk about more light things and fun things this episode.
Well, I told you I came up with the perfect solution to this.
What's the perfect solution?
Remember during Prohibition, they used to have speakeasies where people, they were actually nightclubs, served alcoholic drinks, but they were in very secret places. Like, if you ever saw the movie Some Like It Hot?
Briefly, I saw a few clips here and there.
So the way that they disguised their speakeasy, the storefront was a funeral home. Remember? And then the speakeasy was in the basement of the funeral home. And what it is that the people who they know and can trust would go to these speakeasies, and the guards, you might say, or the guard would open up this small, not going to say it, trap door of some sort. It was it pulled to the side so you could see the person's face, and the person would have to give a certain code, a certain password, that they knew that you weren't a part of the police, that they knew that you were not, a customer coming to use their nightclub. It was called a speakeasy. So I thought we can apply the same thing now to bas mitzvah parties. If a girl is having a bas mitzvah party, what she can do is very quietly tell her friends and have it in a clandestine place. And when they come to the party, same thing, you open up the slit, and to see their face, to see who they are, they say the secret password and you let them in. And I thought of something else too. During the time of the Yevonim, when the Yidden would get together, Jewish children would get together to learn Torah, they would have a guard outside. If they saw the Greek Syrian soldiers coming, they would very quickly put away the sepharim and take out dreidels and start spinning the dreidels, so that the guards would see them and say, oh, these kids are just playing a game. So what the girls should do is, underneath your table, you should have sepharim or a chumash, and they should have a guard outside. And if they see, say, somebody from the school who's spying on you, and you could very quick, and they gain access to the party, you just very quickly pull out your sepharim. Oh, we're just learning. We're not having a bas mitzvah party.
Sounds productive.
And I thought of something else too.
What?
If we can do this with bas mitzvah parties, we should go all the way and do this also with chasanas. I mean, there are some people that have very lavish chasanas, and some people that don't have to have more modest ones. And we make those people that cannot afford big lavish chasanas must feel very, very badly. And not everybody gets invited to chasana. Sometimes you thought you were friends with this person, they didn't invite you to the chasana, and your feelings are hurt. So we need to do this with chasanas too. From now on, I should declare in Baltimore, the Rebbeim should get together and say, if anybody doesn't follow these rules, they're going to be put in cherem, that the chuppah must be outside in the parking lot that connects Tov Pizza to Kosher Bite. And after the chuppah, you're only allowed 10 men. After the chuppah, you and the husband may go either into Tove Pizza or Kosher Bite, and you may have one slice of pizza and one portion of fries. And in Kosher Bite, you may have one hamburger without onions.
I agree because the kosher bite doesn't really put onions on their burgers.
Oh, they should. Makes them taste better. Yeah,
it does. No, you're right.
But putting onion on the hamburger would make it too fancy. You know what I mean? And people might feel badly about that, and we have to be careful of their feelings.
Yeah, I mean, I do find it very frustrating that they kind of take this extreme where they're so worried about everyone's feelings they don't realize how much damage they're causing. But it's frustrating.
I think my idea is best.
Yes, I like your idea, Emma.
Yeah,
100%. You were telling me also about a story about you were in when you were in school.
Honey to my tea.
Honey into your tea.
Yeah,
nice. That when you were in school when you were a little girl, they were trying to sing various songs, and there was a lot of Christian songs and Jewish songs.
Yeah. When I went to the public school, and when I was in third grade, I remember every year around this time they would pass out song sheets to the classes of both Christmas songs and Hanukkah songs. I'm not too many people aware of this, but our song Moed Tzor translates as Rock of Ages. There's a Christian Rock of Ages. So our teacher, who was Christian, looks at the papers and she sees underneath the Hanukkah songs, Rock of Ages. So she got very excited and she said, oh, this is wonderful. They said, let's have the Jewish, and they had it also in Hebrew. They had it in English and in Hebrew. So she says, let's have the Jewish students sing Rock of Ages and let's hear it in Hebrew. So the Jewish students start to sing, Moed Tzor. The Christian kids are looking and the teacher goes, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like Rock of Ages. And they said, well, that's how we sing Rock of Ages. And the teacher was very surprised that the Jewish Rock of Ages, Moed Tzor, was totally different from the Christian song Rock of Ages. Then my sister told me the story in her class. You got a chance to get up in front of the class if you sang nicely, and you could sing whatever song you wanted in front of the class. So, all right, or you could choose a song. So this little Christian kid gets up and she says she wants the class to sing Rock of Ages. This was a class where the majority were Jewish, like 5/8, over half the kids were Jewish. So the Jewish kids start singing Moed Tzor, and she starts to cry.
Oh gosh, I have a question actually. When you were in school, because you talk about like having a speakeasy, did you have any secret clubs when you were a kid or a teenager?
That's a good question. A lot of times kids like to do stuff like that. Their little secret clubs. Yeah, if we did, it might have been like a group of my friends went out to the woods, and we had we went out to the woods to go hiking or have a picnic or whatever. We would get together in a circle and say, this is our secret club or something. And it lasted for maybe 20 minutes. The secret club lasted for 20 minutes, you might say.
Yeah, I think I remember having that as a kid too, like some kind of like secret club, or we would make secret languages. Did you ever do that?
Secret language? No.
Make up your own language, make up your own stuff. Alphabet? Make up your own alphabet?
No, I don't remember that. I'm lucky if I can remember what happened yesterday, like 64 years ago, something like that.
Something like that. Well, the only reason why I'm asking is because I remember when I was a kid, there was all these, different ways of writing different languages that me and my friends would like make in like 4th, 5th grade, where we would have like, 1 dot is A, 2 dots is B, 3 dots is C, 1 line is D.
Sounds like Braille.
Kind of like that. We would do different stuff and we would just make all these like secret messages and notes and pass it to each other in class.
That's creative.
Yeah.
That is really interesting. So how long did that last for?
About like the year that we were, doing it.
That's terrific. Did the teacher ever intercept your secret messages?
You know what? We were in the back of the class and I was just talking to Ruthie about this. Like I wasn't the best student back in elementary school.
Uh-huh.
So I think they were just glad I was quiet. But they weren't trying to push anything or force anything. It's funny because I remember like I just wasn't that good. Elementary school was just a struggle. Most of middle school was a struggle, but then high school I really flourished. Yeah. I was going to tell you actually a funny story. So I was surfing through Instagram, and I saw Amy's Instagram reel that she was posting, and she was posting a video of an SNL skit.
Tell our audience who Amy's
No, it's fine. I don't have to. I don't want to elaborate because in case, like, I just keep things.
It's a relative. She's a
Relative. It's a relative. So I was the SNL skit. The main point of it was poking fun at Jewish songs during the holidays, and it was supposed to be, for Hanukkah, and it was about the Hanukkah songs that you get to listen to that are supposed to be cheerful. And the whole joke is every single Hanukkah song just sounded very depressing, and was talking about oh, it's Happy Hanukkah, so it's like Happy Hanukkah, it's here, let's burn stuff, it's so happy this time of year. Like, it was just a whole joke. And as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, like, this is kind of offensive. But then I realized I was listening to Avram Fried's Nigunim for the holidays, for Shabbos and Yom Tov, and it sounded super depressing. So I just thought that was the funniest thing ever, where it's just like, I don't realize I'm a stereotype until it gets pointed out to me. And how we do have a tendency to have very depressing just songs and stuff.
I don't know. I was listening where I work. They were playing the latest Hanukkah songs, like Benny Friedman, Avraham Fried, and they were very peppy. These were, they played this. There's a Ladino song about the menorah, Candelica, and that was very rhythmic. Some of the Israeli Hanukkah songs are very, very rhythmic, very upbeat.
I guess it's just Ashkenazi standard, like A.B. Rottenberg, like Jewish emo music.
I'm trying to think about it. Let me see. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round together, I'll give you a treat. Tzivivim to play with and latkes to eat. And while we are playing...
You know what it is? It's that down note.
You mean
while
the minor?
It's
minor,
playing.
The minor, that goes...
It's the way it's the way it sounds. Yeah, it's not as peppy as...
like I said,
jingle bell, jingle bell, rock. Jingle bells swing and jingle bells. Like how that note keeps going up. That's a Jewish song. That's an Israeli song. That's Israeli.
I made it out of gold. I took it to an auction for $1 million. It sold.
I never heard that one. $1 million it sold.
I made that up.
Oh, you're so imaginative. So creative.
I made up all these versions. I had a little dreidel. I made it out of mud, and when I went to spell it, it fell down with a thud. I had a little dreidel. I made it out of dough, and when I went to spin it, it simply wouldn't go. I had a little dreidel. I made it out of glass. I took it to school and showed it to the class.
Oh, yeah.
No. These are songs I sing to children, man.
You ever did that? Made funny, stupid songs when you were a kid, in a way of making it more just jokingly dirty. So, what can you name me some?
Oh gosh, what did I? There's a song. I don't know. It's not really an Xmas song. It goes, when I was just a wee little lad, full of health and joy.
Oh yes, I remember that song.
My father homeward came one night and gave to me a toy. I wondered to be old it was with many colors bright. When I was a teenager, I turned it into a kind of an X-rated song.
We could say it now. It's fine. It's probably gonna be PG-13 anyway.
When I was just a real lad full of joy. My father homeward came one night and gave me a Playboy bun. A Playboy bunny or something. He brought a Playboy bunny.
All right. I thought it was
and she became my heart's delight. Oh boy, she went so good about it. I'll leave it up to your imagination.
Okay,
as a teenager, what a teenager can think of.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I always found it fun when I'd also make up little stories and songs when I was a kid. We used to have these different... Well, it was funny. There was this one guy in my school in 9th grade. He made this stupid little quote. He said, "Another day, another dollar. Yet
that's an old one.
Wait for it. You jumped the gun.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Another day, another dollar. Yet every day I'm reborn." I thought it was just a funny. It was in my head. I thought it was a funny, quirky, dumb thing.
Another day, another day, every day I'm reborn. That's
Yeah.
interesting. How old was this kid?
14.
Oh, I was about to say if he was 6 or 7. Wow, that's very
No.
precocious.
He was 14 when he made that up.
Your sister Chani was the family philosopher, you might
Oh
say.
yeah.
And she was the one that came up with however you were born, the older you get, the further away you get from it. She came up with that when she was like 4 years old or something,
Oh,
4 or
wow.
5.
Well, I mean, it's funny because Tati, like, what his minor was philosophy.
Yeah. Yeah, your father came up with all sorts of like, what did he come up with? He would say funny things sometimes. Darn it, now I can't think of a single thing that he used to say, but he used to come up with all these different, sometimes he would poke fun at his father because his father would come up with like different sayings like, your grandfather would try to instill in your father like the work ethic
Yeah.
of the day. And he would say, you make $1, you can spend $1. And so your father one time said that he ought to put all these little quotes from his father into a little red book and call it Quotations from Chairman Angster. As a play on,
from
the
Chairman
little red
Mao.
book quotations from Chairman Mao that they used to have.
Well, I remember Pop saying, like, if it was raining outside, he said this one quote. When it was raining outside, he said, "You're sweet, but you won't melt." And I thought that was very cute. And then he also said, if you're looking for sympathy, it's in the dictionary between shit and syphilis, which is nice. It's adorable. I heard Tati's
That
little quote.
that generation was not the sympathetic generation, that's for
No.
sure.
No.
They couldn't afford the luxury.
Well, it's funny because I have this mug. It's called a Bubby mug, and it shows like a just depressed woman, and it says, "Nobody appreciates me." And
Oh, that used to be my mug.
yes, I have your mug. And
You have my mug.
Come over here, and I'll give it to you.
You may have it for a Hanukkah present.
Thank you. Oh, you're so generous. You're so generous with your Hanukkah presents. So I was joking around that I remember as a kid, you would always like bumble under your breath whenever you were cleaning or something, getting frustrated because nobody was helping. You're like, filthy dirt. All I am is filthy dirt, just doing nothing. And we would just start cracking up. We would just turn into a whole joke and just make filthy dirt, filthy dirt. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know if you were home, it's still in the house at that time, but there was one time the whole house was a total mess. Everyone's things were all over the place. So rather than fetch and yell, I just started walking around the house singing the song, pick it up, don't leave it for your mother. Pick it up, we cannot do no other. Pick it up, it's the thing to do. Pick it up, remember you live here too. And I just walked all around the house singing it over and over and over again, like the Chinese water torture. And finally, your sisters yelled, all right, we'll pick everything up, just shut up.
I think I remember that time. I remember that song. I remember that song being drilled into my head. What other passive-aggressive songs would you make? I'm trying to think. Because no, it would happen where they would just be.
Let's blame the mother. It's a typical thing to do. Let's blame the mother instead of looking at me and you. Shall I blame my mother? Do you think it's really right? Or should I try to change myself and try with all my might?
Yeah, I remember Let's Blame the Mother. I remember Pick It Up. I remember so many other little ditties, little emo ditties. Turn into like little. There were quips because the thing is, the songs wouldn't be like 3-minute songs or 4-minute songs. They were like a minute and a half max, like little tidbits, little jabs to everybody else. And everyone just like roll their eyes, like, God damn it. I have to do this.
It's better than screaming and throwing stuff and yelling.
No, you're right. It's definitely better than that.
In a creative way.
Exactly. No, it's what it is that like I guess when you're a parent, it's you have to be at a better level of decorum, because I'm realizing this now when I'm watching my kid that like I can't act the way I'm acting now. I have to act better. I want to act the way I wish my son will act, because he's just going to copy me. That's it. He's just going to copy me. No matter what I say or do, it's just going to be a copy. I have a question. Did you ever?
But before you go on to about that, I have improved.
Oh yeah.
I had a test this week, and I have improved. Usually, when a kid, like would do this, I would usually say, "Oh, GD it" or something, and a couple times I did it in the daycare and I went, whoop. I said, I better watch my mouth. Well, I was changing a diaper this week and it was a boy. I didn't get the clean diaper on in time and I got a spritz. Let's put it this way. The teacher who was in charge of the class told me if I wanted to, I could go home and change.
God.
And I told her, that's okay. I'll just go to the bathroom and it's only water. I'll wash myself off. And I had some cologne on me and I'll just spray myself with cologne. But when he did this, instead of me saying like, like what I just went, that just closed my mouth. And I did not say what I did
you
not
wanted
say.
to say.
Yes. And I controlled myself. I was very proud of myself. In that split second, I actually controlled myself.
Now, I have a question then. What habits do you notice in your children that are yours? And which one of them would you say you wish you worked on before your kid picked up on it?
I see some of my older kids who have who are raising children that are getting, more into the preteen, teenage, that
Yeah.
stage. That I think that they're being a little too harsh on them. I don't say anything because I figure, I don't think it's a grandparent's place to, unless God forbid a kid's being really abused. Seriously, if it's just a typical parenting thing, I keep out of it. This is their child. This is the way they want to raise them. Fine. Maybe they feel that being a little on the harsh side, verbally, a little verbally critical is their way of getting their kid to work harder to meet a higher standard. Maybe, some parents feel that way. And I think that was something maybe that I did and that maybe I should have backed off more and not been so, so hard on you kids. But the thing is that every parent wants their child, every good parent wants their child to work up to their potential and to be a success. And sometimes when a parent is critical of their child, they criticize because they love their kid. They want to see their kid do better.
Do you think your kids have met those standards after your parenting?
Thank God, yeah. I think, thank God, none of you are slackers. None of you, thank God. Thank God, none of you are slackers. You all work hard. You're all fantastic achievers.
Do you ever feel like maybe, because
On the other hand, maybe because of the pecuniary way you were raised, you realized that you couldn't afford to be anything other than an achiever.
I like how I grew up in a sense where I didn't grow up with everything. And that pushed my creativity to the limits and my drive to the limits.
Yeah.
Where I think I'm naturally a very relaxed, laid back. But because of my situations, I became more aggressive. And it got me to where I am today, where I need to push because I grew up in a situation where I don't have the opportunity or luxury to sit on my butt and do nothing. I need to move. I need to go.
Right.
As long as in my head, as long as I starve myself out, I'll push. And I try to find ways to motivate myself by starving myself out. I resist certain things and I stop doing certain things because it's just like, I don't want to have that luxury because I know later on down the road that I'm going to be too comfortable and I don't want to be too comfortable.
I think there's something I've often heard, like philosophers or educators, people in general, more of our leadership type people say something to that effect that it's not good to get too comfortable, that because then you want the people, mankind in general. I've heard like anthropologists or people on the radio, like news analysts saying things like the human spirit is programmed to move one way or the other. I think it's been said also like ruchnius, terms. There is a Jewish idea that ruchnius wise, you're either going forward or backward.
Yeah, there's no standstill, either going up or going down. Amen. I guess then my next question would be what would be your ideal comfort?
Drinking this ginger lemon tea with honey.
So a simple, just sitting around drinking tea. That's it. That's your ideal comfort.
I guess so. Yeah.
Interesting. What do you think? I know this is kind of silly because we don't believe in this, but it's a good question to ask in regards to ideologically, what would you think heaven would be like for you? I know. It's not because philosophically speaking, for our listeners, Jewish philosophy, when it comes to heaven, it's not necessarily this idea where you're sitting on, clouds, playing on harp strings. It's the revelation of godliness and connecting to godliness.
Well, I had a
to
professor in
a deeper
college.
understanding. Yeah.
The guy was Christian, and he used to say, I don't want to go to Christian heaven. I want to go to Muslim heaven. Wine, women, song. He says, I don't want to sit around the cuts playing the harp all day.
So what would be your ideal? So fine. So I don't want to say your ideal comfort, but your ideal pleasure of this world that you've seen that you would rather enjoy. Because I know it's something where it's just like, I guess
I enjoy when I'm either playing the violin or the piano, and I'm working on something, and I've worked to the point where it sounds good, and I'm making this music, and it sounds really good, and I'm the one doing it.
Do you have like a certain song you've always wanted to master?
Gosh, right now, one of the pieces I surprised myself with was Chopin's Nocturne in E flat. I never imagined I could play it, and actually, I saw the way, like when you worked on guitar, you were a beginner, but yet you wanted to play, what was it, classical gas you wanted to play?
Classical gas.
And you painstakingly took it note by note by note by note until you finally had the whole thing mastered, and you were a beginner.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how you played it. So I thought about that exam. I thought, you know what? I'll take it note by note by note. And within a matter of a couple months, I was playing the whole thing.
Yeah.
I never imagined in my life I would be able to master a piece like Chopin's Nocturne in E flat. I want to play Granado's La Playada. I don't pronounce it. Playa, something like that. It's a very Spanish piece. I've tried working on it, and I just can't get the rhythm. It's a very Spanish.
What's the beat?
No. I think it's La Payera.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8?
Something like that.
1, 2, 3.
But what is that?
2.
It's the left hand is so described. The left hand is going bloom, 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 bloom. In other words, when you play it very slowly, like note by note, and then you try to put the rhythm together, it's like almost like totally different.
I see. Luckily for me, I would listen to you. What helped me with classical gas is I went on YouTube, and there are other professionals explaining how to do it, breaking it down piece by piece. So that's what it was. And this was YouTube in 2008, 2009. It was very rudimentary. Nowadays, it's probably way more advanced, breaking it down. But they basically have multiple people that are teachers in music explaining the tempo, explaining the picking, the style of picking, where to place your hands, how to transition from note to note on the guitar, and things like that. So maybe you should want to check on YouTube and watch some videos. It might help.
Fantastic idea. How to play Granados La Playera. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, can you give me some examples, at least 3 examples, of how you were inspired because your kids were able to do something you couldn't do?
And so were you with the guitar?
Yeah, that's fun.
Trying to think. What else? Well, you have a couple siblings that are very, very successful financially.
And you're just surprised, like, holy shit. Yeah.
I mean, I never spent frivolously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's put it this way. I chose spirituality, and it's like choosing butter over guns, you might say. I chose spirituality and morality over financial success, because I felt to me, morality, doing what is right, trumps over. You can't even say the word Trump anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but,
Overrides.
Overrides monetary comfort.
Out of curiosity, can you give me an example of how you personally could have chosen a more financially exceptional life? You chose a moralistic perspective or moralistic standards, and that caused you a financial loss.
Well, I was good in science and math, and I could have chosen, say, a medical field, but I had to be honest with myself about what I really wanted to do. And I knew that I enjoyed working with children and I enjoyed music. And even though I knew this is not going to be as financially lucrative as something in the science or medical field, that this is what I really want to do. And that was number one. But two, becoming from, had I not become from, I probably would have gone on and gotten my master's, worked on Shabbos, you know what I mean? And,
Oh, the typical stuff.
Continued singing singing in the church choir on Sunday, getting paid for that. But I felt that being Shomer Shabbos, not performing in a church, Kolisha, also basically switching careers. There was, in fact, when I was in Crown Heights, there was a woman I spoke to who was in a similar situation. She wrote into the Rebbe, and the Rebbe told her, take up an instrument. And that's what she did. And I thought back to that woman. And hello? Wait a minute.
I'm here.
Yeah, no, my battery's getting low.
Oh, okay. We're almost out of time anyways.
Okay. So and when I heard that, they say that if you hear a response from the Rebbe, that someone's telling you about a response from the Rebbe, that it also applies to you. So that's what I did. I decided to start working more in the instrumental area of music rather than the vocal area of music. But I did, when I was in Crown Heights, I remember I did perform for some women's groups. I did sing for some women's groups. So I didn't get paid, but I sang on a volunteer, I sang at some women's functions.
Did you ever regret that? Or did
No.
you ever have moments of regret?
No, because I think what I got back as far as, Yiddishkeit, my spirituality, my peace of mind, and the lifestyle that I took on, the rewards of the lifestyle that I took on, I thought way, totally outweighed what I would have gained financially. Money comes and goes, you know what I mean?
So looking back at your life then, of all these ups and downs that you had with your financial, emotional, spiritual self, do you have a regret that you wish you could have done so maybe your life could have been better, or you feel like you've lived a life to its fullest extent and pushed yourself to the fullest extent?
I think I pretty much pushed myself to the fullest extent. The only regret I had, I'm sorry that Chabad wasn't around on my college campus when I was in college. I think I would have become frum a lot sooner, and maybe saved myself a lot of tsars.
True. Did you? Because just like, it's always something when you have these opportunities, and as a young kid growing up, seeing my family, my parents live that life, I felt very frustrated with that, where they could have had a more financially successful life and they chose not to, and I didn't respect it at the time. I didn't. I felt that it was a cop-out over principles that didn't matter. And I think for me, as I got older, that I slowly realized the importance of that idea of standing up for your principles, standing up for your, I guess, ideology. That if you have a proper ideology, you should stand up for it. You should have your standards. And then have that faith that Hashem will provide and that you're going to be fine. And as younger, I saw the frustration of you and Tati and the frustration that the family had of wanting to be more financially stable and wanting to be more financially successful and wishing I could be that and trying hard enough to do that. And over time, I kept on failing and then eventually got to a point where I just stopped caring anymore and just focused on what Hashem wanted for me. And that's when things started clicking a little better, where I started realizing that ebb and flow of how things work, of that it's not about trying to reach this high financial successful goal. It's learning how to live your day by day and knowing that God's with you. And by knowing that God's with you, you're going to feel that success and feel that comfort that it's going to be fine because today is okay. Tomorrow's problems. Today, I'm fine. So let's focus on today. And I think that was something that took me a long time to learn. And I'm still learning, but I'm learning. I feel like I'm more ahead of the game than I was before.
It's true.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
shall we end on that upbeat note?
Sure. Sure.
That's the note.
There's a note. It's very upbeat. It got me. Waka waka waka. I'll send you that video, by the way, and I'll tell you what I'm talking about.
Okay, sweetheart.
All right, love you. Have
Love
a good
you. Have
Shabbos.
a Chag Sameach and have a great Shabbos.
Happy Hanukkah.
You too.
Thank you for listening to Jewish Boy Calls His Mother. Please comment and subscribe on our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Instagram. I would greatly appreciate it, and my mother would too.